Hey everyone, it's great to be back again making Assetto Corsa videos after a break for the last 6 months, and that has really been because I opened my new sim racing venue in the UK. And if you do want to know more about that, check out the socials and the link in the description. We are going to be covering Pure 0.250 by Peter Bose today, and this is a huge release, and what better way to open up the videos again on the channel. There will be videos every week now on the channel, so you've got plenty to look forward to if you like the latest Assetto Corsa mods. Also today we're going to be looking at this Ferrari California T 2015 by MNBA, and I'm going to go through this in some detail in a moment. This is a free mod, again the link will be in the description. So let's take a look at the car first. Here is then the gorgeous Ferrari California T by MNBA. It looks fantastic as we can see, but it's got some very nice features on it, including this one. So when you first get into the car will be switched off. There's not many mods doing this still at the moment. You need to use one of your buttons to turn the ignition. This is one of your CSP extra buttons. I normally have them mapped to my numpad, but you can put them on your buttons on your steering wheel or your setup. You do have to switch this engine on and off though, which I think is fantastic. The California T has got 560 brake horsepower and it will do nearly 200 miles an hour, but I think it looks great just stood here on the track. There are some other things though that we can have a look at, and that is the animations on the roof. This has been done really well and really carefully. Just take a look at how good this looks. That has been done really well, but let's take a look under the bonnet, because unlike most Ferraris, this has an engine in the front of the car, and there you can see that gorgeous famous Ferrari engine. So all the details are here. This is what we're going to be looking at today when we're going to be using Pure and all the weather effects that I'm going to show you later in the video. Okay, let's get on to Pure itself. So this is Pure 0.250 by Peter Bose. If you are new to Assetto Corsa modding, this is a Patreon mod, which means it's £1 a month to join Peter's Patreon site. I'll put the link down below and you can download this and all the previous versions. You can see what's new there and what's been fixed. There's loads of added visuals and also some great lighting effects as well that I'm going to go through later on. But when you've downloaded this, and I will talk about the version of CSP you need as well in a moment, let's just take it to the desktop and see what we need to do. So this is the Pure 0.250 high res pack. This is about 2.5 gig to download. Once we've got that on our desktop, all we're going to do is right click on there and we're going to open it with 7-zip. If you've not got 7-zip, do download that too. It's a free download. You can just search it on Google. Really easy to install. Once we've extracted that onto the desktop, you're going to get a number of different files and a folder. Let's just move it over to the right hand side so it's all in one place. Now I'm just going to go through quickly what these documents are because they are quite important. So Peter has given you a running commentary on these of actually what is happening in the development of Pure. So this what's the difference is really good because most people, if you're into Assetto Corsa modding or maybe new, you've probably heard of Sol. Most people have, most people are using it. Well, Pure is actually going to remove the need to use Sol. This is really the next iteration of Sol. And this first PDF, which is what's the difference between Sol and Pure, is a really great document if you want to understand the reasons why Peter is now developing Pure and not developing Sol anymore. So do check this document out, and as you scroll down it, as I am doing here, you'll see there's some comparison shots between Sol and Pure, and there really is a significant difference. And I hope when you see it in game later on and I'm actually changing settings live, you'll see how big a difference it is. Now also you've got here weather in careers and championships. So there are some settings and it shows you here in the config file how to change that if you want to do that, so do check that out too. And then we've got a couple more documents as well. We've got Pure scripting, Pure changelog, and obviously then the license and copyright right. Now in the Pure scripting, there's a huge amount of technical information there. So if you are wanting to change this for your own use, as Peter says in his documentation, then that's absolutely fine. Obviously not to redistribute. In the changelog, you can see just how many updates have actually been happening from a top level point of view. So that's really useful to know, especially if you've used Pure in the past and you didn't like something and now it has been developed. So if you are coming back to Pure, that is a really good place to look to see if your fix has actually been completed. And then lastly, there is a Pure HDR setup. This is really cool because it goes into all your monitor settings too. So Peter has again done a great job here of giving you a one-stop shop to get your Pure looking as good as possible on Assetto Corsa. Now let's just take a look at what's actually in the main install folder. Now this is really important because again, Peter has made this really simple to install or uninstall what you need. You can see there's some install Pure, uninstall Pure, uninstall Sol, and uninstall Sol, install Pure.bat files, batch files. These are automatically running different scripts in the background to give you the install that you want. So you don't need to drag and drop these folders or files. You can actually uninstall what you've already got on there and then install Pure the correct way. It's really important that you use these. Now at the moment, I still have Sol installed on an old install of mine on Assetto Corsa. So I'm going to use the uninstall Sol and install Pure. When I double click on it, it's giving me a Windows has protected your PC. You do trust this file obviously, so I'm going to run it anyway. That's just a Windows safety net there. And then the next thing you need to do is point this batch file to where your root directory of Assetto Corsa is, and it's going to bring this window up here. This is pretty standard on a lot of programs. So all I'm going to do is go under common, under my Steam folder and Steam apps, and find Assetto Corsa, and then you'll know you've got the right folder because it will come up with this. Do I want to delete my Sol config user files too? I'm saying yes. And then it's saying it's not empty and Sol successfully removed. Really important. So I know my Sol has been removed correctly. It then has removed a number of other pieces like Sky Domes, the old Pure that I had on, the old PP filters, and then installed all the new Pure pieces that I want from this install. So as long as that's acted correctly like that, you're ready to go. And I've just pressed a button there and then I'm back onto my main desktop. Now I'm just going to delete all these just to keep everything neat on the desktop. We do need to talk about CSP because this needs CSP 2.2 or above. So you can use a public version, but I'm going to use one of the preview versions, which again, you can get from Ilya's Patreon site. I think it's £1 a month again. So let me just show you where those are. So if I go onto settings and go onto custom shader patch and about updates, you will see that I've currently got 0.2.3 preview 1. If it's a preview, it means it's rain activated. You can only get rain by using the correct preview version of CSP or a preview version of CSP. If I wanted to go to a public version of CSP, you can see I've got 0.2.2, but anything above 0.2 will work with Pure as per Peter's instructions. So remember, always double check what you've got there on currently active. Previews, by the way, need to be dragged and dropped into Content Manager. You can't install them any other way unless you drag them over manually, but you're best going through Content Manager. The next thing to do is to go to Settings, Custom Shader Patch, and click on Weather Effects, and then click on Weather Style. Now you see I've had all sorts of different mods installed over the time, but I am picking the latest Pure 0.250 for my weather style. The other thing then that Peter recommends is turning headlights on and off automatically, and I've got that here, so I'm just going to put a little tick box in there. Saw that on his latest video, so I thought I would do that too. You've also got then some post-processing pieces here that you can change if you want to, but absolutely experiment, but always remember to save your configs if you're going to do lots of experimentation, so you can roll it back if you need to. Really important to do that. Now the next place we need to go is to our video settings. So we're under settings and then we're under Assetto Corsa and video. Now I've done lots of videos where it shows you how to set all of this up, but the only thing that I'm going to be looking at today is this filter. Now again, I've had lots of things installed on my version of Assetto Corsa. As you can see, all sorts of different PP filters, a lot of older ones. But because I've just reinstalled Pure, I am going to use Pure Candy. That's my go-to. It's really vibrant, it's great for videos, and it's just the look and feel I like. But again, do experiment with all the pure new PP filters. There's a lot of work gone into those. And the next place we need to go, lastly, is the drive menu, and we need to go into this weather section. Sometimes people miss this bit out and things won't work correctly if you do, so please do check in here. So you can see at the bottom you've got pure live, but you've also got controllers. Now put it onto pure static there. That's what we need, not the default. If you've got it on default, you may not get pure to work correctly in game. You've also got live and pure underneath there where you can do dynamic weather, but it really is up to you. So what we're going to do now, we've changed all of the settings. We've installed pure. We're going to click on that go button and take a look in game. Here we are then at Imola, which you know is one of my go-to tracks if you've watched my previous videos. And by the way, guys, do check those out. Over 400 Assetto Corsa videos on the channel about all sorts of mods, especially cars and tracks, and how-to guides. Now this Imola we're at is the Paya 2022 extension, which is beautiful. So let's take a look at the in-game settings now. So what I'm going to do is move my cursor to the right of the screen, click on the 4 little dots, and you can see there now we've got pure config and pure planner. So no sol in sight, we've just got pure. Now as soon as I click on that pure config, you can see a warning comes up here, and this is really important for some of the viewers. Pure lightning shader can produce stroboscopic effects, and this may not be safe for people with epilepsy. So really important you pick the right config you want here, so you can switch it off completely, activate it but no flashing lights, or activate it with all the effects on. Now that's what I've done, so I'm not going to focus on the lightning on this video, but it's something for you all to explore how you want to. So now we're into pure config. There's a few things here on the main section. You can see we've got a few green areas here, which is pure checklist, but I have got an orange area. So if I just click on correct itself, it's actually done that, so it's fixed the problem in one of my config settings. So again, Peter's making this very easy to use, a lot easier than some of the much older mods that we used to have on Assetto Corsa. Now just looking through some of these tabs, we've got a sky tab, we've also got a clouds tab, and you can see the sky domes that you've got on there as well. By the way, the big high-res sky domes, they're only using very small amounts of your VRAM on your video card, so do definitely get them because they look fantastic. They're 16K sky domes. You can also see what PP filter you're using here, and there's lots of details, but do remember to keep a check on what you're changing here and only change one thing at once and then try it in game. You can always reset though to defaults or just save your config, so just be careful because you can obviously mess up how Assetto Corsa is going to be looking there, but plenty to explore. But we're probably interested in how good does this look. So here we are then with the Ferrari, and this time I have brought up the pure planner, and of course we are all very used to using the Sol planner. Well, certainly I was for a long time, and many of you will have been, but this is even simpler. So you can see on the right hand side we've got lots of help pieces there, so do click on those if you want some help. Then at the top we've got day, timed, and we've also got stamp and live. So there's lots of things you can change there on the weather and to make it really dynamic. This main area here, if I click on the clouds, it brings up something very familiar. If you've not used Pure before but used Sol, then this is how Sol used to work. So it's exactly the same principle. You can just click on any of these and it will create the weather effect for you with transition, and that's really important. The transitions are fantastic as well, especially if you've timed them in game. So we've got clear here, and we've got clear with clouds, a few clouds, all the regular pieces, but remember these are using all the great new sky domes as well, and it looks really fantastic, especially when you change the time of day, and I'm going to show you how to do that later on. But let's just have a quick flick through these. So we've got windy. I think windy is one of my favorites because you've got these really cool dynamic clouds moving around sometimes, and it looks very dramatic. Then we've got broken clouds, something that's a little bit more like rain that's going to arrive. And of course then we've got all of the fog and haze pieces as well. I think the fog one is particularly good. Just look at the transition there and how that changes the view live. Again, we all have to remember this is over a decade old game, and Peter and Ilya really are keeping it bang up to date. but also we've got rain and we've got thunder and lightning. Now remember, I'm going to get rain here because I've got a CSP preview that's £1 a month to actually download and get it. You only need to do it once. It's going to cost you £1 to get this version that we've got now, and just look how good it looks. If I do put it on heavy rain, let's take a look at this. Yes, that looks really fantastic, and there are a couple of different settings. You can change how the rain looks with the camera, etc. So you can check that out on some of the other videos that I've got on the channel too. So if we move it to drizzle or a less rain, you can see the transition we've got there. We still don't have any snow. Peter, when are we going to have snow? I've got no idea how snow is going to work on the Assetto Corsa, but I think it would be an absolute game changer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And also you've got heavy sleet on there, so it's obviously in plan at some point. Now we've also got hurricane. I'm not sure you'd want to drive in a hurricane, but look how cool this is. The wind and rain sweeping across the track, and then we can just put it on clear and it all disappears. Really fantastic stuff. But I did say earlier about the new lightning effect. So as I said in the video when we looked at those warnings, I am going to put it on and you'll be able to hear it and you'll see a few small flashes. But what I wanted to do is just show you that it works and it's there and it's something for you guys to explore. Now I know this has had a big revamp because the last time I was using Pure it was very different, but let's take a look at it. So I hope that gives you a feel of how Rain and Pure, the latest version of CSP, are all going to work together. But there's one other thing I just want to show you, and this is on the Pure Planner, and this is how easy it is to use the planner. I probably will do a separate video on the planner at some point in the future, just a reference video, but this is how easy it is. So I've just put it onto few clouds and you can see we've got rid of all the rain and all that drama on the weather. Now what we can do is change the time really easy in the daytime with this slider. So this is really where you'll start to see some of the lighting effects coming in with Pure. You see the automatic lights come on there with the car, and as you move this through the dawn, you'll see some absolutely stunning, beautiful colors coming through, and the Pure lighting effects and the way it affects the colors on the game through your PP filter is going to make a huge difference if you've not used Pure before. So do support the modders, support Peter and support Ilya. They're doing a fantastic job here. Also with Pure, when you're in tunnels on tracks like Shitoko, you'll see a vast difference, and I know Peter talks about it in his documentation, but it really does make a huge difference. Now we've just been using the slider there, but we can also change the time as well and the date, and we can also change the year. So remember, this has got a full astronomical model on it, and that means there is a full simulation of the entire solar system. So you can pick a date in a year and the sun and the moon will be in exactly the right place, which again is going to give you much more accuracy, especially if you're trying to pick a time in the past for some vintage racing. And that's a really good idea, to get the exact weather on the day and the sun and moon and the sunset, everything where it should be. This is Assetto Corsa then in 2024, looking absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited to be bringing you new videos every week on all the latest Assetto Corsa mods. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.